Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Jennifer Huber, also known as Solo Travel Girl, and since June of 2022, I've been using Mounjaro to manage my type 2 diabetes. Before I get into this week's update, first off, I'm not feeling so hot. I don't know if I picked up like a flu bug, or I think it's because I started a new probiotic this week and I think it's just not settling well with my stomach. Anyway, I'm not feeling so hot, so this video might be shorter than others, or I might be missing some elements. But anyway, before I get into this week's update, week 86 of Mounjaro, I just want to give you a little recap about my journey with Mounjaro. Since I started it in June of 2022, I have lost about 60 pounds. I have lowered my A1C. I started off at 8.2. I just got my results back from the end of January, and it was 5.6. Very exciting, very exciting. I used to have high blood pressure, and I used to have to take medication for that. I no longer have high blood pressure, so I'm no longer on high blood pressure medication. My cholesterol numbers have looked great. Check out my last video, and I am on a low dose statin, but my cholesterol numbers, I think they're looking pretty good. And I had non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and that has since been reversed since I've been on this whole Mounjaro journey. So yeah, Mounjaro really has been a game changer in my life and helping me achieve my health goals. So before I get into this week's update, I just want to remind you that I'm not a healthcare professional, and I'm just sharing my personal experience and opinion about using Mounjaro to manage my type 2 diabetes. Also, I have no relationship with the drug manufacturer or any pharmacies that are selling Mounjaro. All right, so as I mentioned, I do have my laptop here, so forgive me for looking down, but I just started week 86 of Mounjaro on Friday, and that's at the 7.5 dose, and that's week 26 at the second go around at 7.5 milligram. And as you saw the title of this video, I'm going to talk about as to why I am on 7.5 milligrams. But let me go over this week's update. I did gain a pound since last week, so I'm up to 136 pounds. I'm 5'4". I started this journey at 197, so I can still say more than 60 pounds that I've lost. But I want to remember that muscle weighs more than fat. And I did get some nice exercise in this week. I had a night of Pilates and then 2 nights of yoga. I did some lawn work yesterday, and then I had a day of volunteering where I was painting and running around. So I was very active this past week, so that was very exciting. Oh, of course, walking my dog twice a day. And Radcliffe is not with me today. He's on a little dogcation. I know I'm deviating from my updates, but I was supposed to be at the Daytona 500 today. If you're following the weather, it was postponed until tomorrow. I did take tomorrow off. I had that scheduled to take tomorrow off, so I'll see if I'm going tomorrow, whether I want to make the ride. I was happy it was postponed today because, again, I am not feeling so well, and I made it to the first rest stop about an hour from my house, and that's when I learned that it was postponed, so I turned around, and I was very thankful with that. So anyway, Radcliffe is on his little dogcation, and I'll pick him up on Tuesday. What's nice is that I can watch him on the webcam, and basically he sleeps a lot, he moves around, I see his blanket moving around and all that other stuff. If you're new here, Radcliffe is my dog. Okay, anyway, we talked about exercise, weight, you know what my A1C is, and then nutrition. I'm trying to be mindful. However, it was Fat Tuesday. I didn't get more punchkins. It looks like Paczki, the spelling, but it's really Punchki is how it's pronounced. Those are like the Polish donuts. I didn't get any more after I got some on Sunday, and actually I just took a couple bites of the key lime one and then one of the plum one, and then, sorry, recycled them. And then Valentine's Day treats are around cookies and candy, and been trying to be mindful though. All right, so let's get into this week's update. Why am I still at 7.5 milligram doses of Mounjaro? So for the first year of Mounjaro, I kept a I didn't keep it. I put it together at the end of the year. I put together an Excel sheet, and I just went back and referred to that to see when I first got on the 7.5 milligram dose and then when I got off it. So I made this graph for you. Let's see. We'll put this here. I made this graph here, and I'm going to do a split screen so you can see the graph. And as you can see, I have been fluctuating on dosages of Mounjaro. Basically, week 9, I went from 5 milligram dose up to 7.5 milligram dose. Week 15, just showing you, still at 7.5. Week 17, I went up to 10. Week 41, I was down to 5. Then I went up to 10. 4 doses later at week 45. Week 49, I went back down to 5. Week 53, I went up to 10. And then week 61, I have been at 7.5. And that's where I've been ever since. Again, this is week 86, so I'm back on 7.5 milligram dosages of Mounjaro. And the main reason was because of availability. The reason why I was going between the 10 and the 5 milligram dosages is because what was available from my pharmacy. It just so happened that some of those places where I should have been, or that I was at 5 or even 10, I should have been at 7.5, but because the pharmacy didn't have 5 or 10 available, or they didn't have 7.5 available, I went with either 5 or 10. Sometimes they didn't have 10 available, so that's why I went back down to 5. And then, so one was availability from the pharmaceutical company and what was available at my pharmacy. And then the other reason is when I met with my healthcare provider, my endocrinologist who prescribed this medication for me, she thought I was doing fine at 7.5 in maintaining my diabetes. Now, I haven't seen her since I had my my last A1C check. I saw my primary healthcare provider since then, but I don't even know when I'm going to see my endocrinologist again. I know I have an appointment with her. It could be like in June when I go back, so that would be like 2 years since I was prescribed Mounjaro. So basically, it's because of availability, and 7.5 is working for me so far. My weight is creeping up a little bit, and if you remember when I saw my healthcare provider, I think it was in September, she told me that I'm going to be gaining probably 20, maybe 40 pounds from that time when I saw her, and she basically is theorizing that, well, one, that in the trials, most people lost on average about 20 pounds, but I've since seen other reports saying that 40 to 60 pounds is typical of people on Mounjaro, patients on Mounjaro. I'm not sure if that's accurate, but then also that my body is going to be adjusting to the side effects. So the side effects, makes food unappealing, and the side effect is that it slows your digestive system down, and it slows your elimination period down, makes you feel full faster. Makes you feel nauseous, and actually I'm still feeling nauseous, not necessarily from Mounjaro today's nauseousness, but Friday evening I felt nauseous, and that seems to be what's happening to me when I have my injection in the morning, and then around bedtime I just feel sick to my stomach. So she is theorizing that my body is going to get used to Mounjaro, and that those side effects will minimize, and that part of those side effects are the reason why I am eating less. But again, I like to think that muscle weighs, or I know that muscle weighs more than fat, and that perhaps I am gaining some muscle now. We will see, but I'm not mad about weighing 136 pounds. It's still over 60 pounds that I've lost on Mounjaro, and I can't even remember when I was in the 130s. But just gives me opportunity to work harder for next week. The whole reason why I am talking about why I'm at 7.5 milligrams is because someone commented a couple of videos ago as to why I am still on 7.5 milligrams. So I hope I answered your question. And I know I have some other questions to respond to. I know someone had asked what my weight loss goal is. Weight loss was never part of this journey. Now that I have lost over 60 pounds, Am I happy about it? I am. I am happy, but I am happier that my A1C has lowered and it seems to be more manageable now. I am extremely happy about that. If I could be healthy at the weight that I was, maybe minus 20 pounds or so, I would be happy as well. But I'm going to be, I want to stay in the 130s. I don't want to weigh any less than 135-ish or so. To me, that's a lot of weight. And when I think about when I share my weight with you all, especially recently, and I've been gaining weight over the last couple of weeks, I just think back to when my brother was wrestling in high school. And if you're familiar with wrestling, at least back then, like in the 70s or 80s, in the 80s, I guess, it was, you know, they want the kind of the bigger boys to lose weight right before a match. So they would, like, I don't want to say starve themselves, but they wouldn't eat. They'd be instructed not to eat. So they would weigh in, and then they would be just on that cusp and just underneath. So they're really a heavier person, and they would be in a lower weight class, so they would have an advantage. And I just remember how stressful that was for other guys on the wrestling team, and I just kind of think about that. And so I've debated whether I should share my weight losses and gains with you, because this journey was not about weight loss. Yeah, I didn't believe that I could lose this much weight on Mounjaro, but again, I am so excited and thrilled about reaching other health goals. All right, my friends. Yeah, so that's it for this video, for this week's video. You know, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you're having success with Mounjaro. And you know what? Not only be kind to others this week, but please be kind to yourself. I'll see you next week. Bye.